It's been 5 years since George Floyd was murdered. His death sparked global outrage, but I think the protests that followed were centuries in the making. From the Middle Passage to mass incarceration, from slave codes to Jim Crow. The pent-up energy of America's enduring commitment to anti-Blackness bore down on that moment. But 5 years later, many of us are left asking what changed. We went from black squares all over social media, global protests from London to Lagos, demonstrations all over the United States, all of that to critical race theory bans in a year's time. Corporations pledged $50 billion toward racial justice. Books by black authors topped the New York Times bestseller list. But just a few years later, some of those exact same books were banned from public libraries. If 2020 was the awakening, I think the 4 years that followed could be called the retrenchment. Take, for example, the most substantive policy position of 2020's BLM protest movement, police reform. Despite Senator Cory Booker and then Senator Kamala Harris introducing police reform legislation as early as June 2020, Congress never passed a bill to limit the use of no-knock warrants, chokeholds, or qualified immunity. In some places, police budgets grew. And across the country, states have been breaking ground on cop city police training facilities. Perhaps the most notable evidence of this retrenchment was the 2024 presidential race, when Donald J. Trump was re-elected. His administration has moved fast to undo any of the racial progress his predecessors valued, dismantling civil rights departments, equipping police with excess military gear, and ending Biden-era investigations into the police departments that took the lives of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. But as crazy as it sounds, I still think that there is reason for hope. If 2020 was the awakening and the years that followed the retrenchment, I think we are entering a new phase right now, what I'm calling the reevaluation. Black political power, despite all of the attacks it's taken, is alive and well. Organized black voters in Louisiana helped to defeat a constitutional amendment, one that would have made it easier to try children as adults. What some community members believe would accelerate mass incarceration and impact black people the most. Black folks are boycotting companies like Target, potentially costing them billions. Angela Rye, Joy Reid, and others are leading the State of the People Power Tool, galvanizing, teaching, and organizing black folks across the country to build political power locally. 5 years later, if the question is what changed, I think the answer is that we changed, and it's probably for the better.